When people think of birding in Spain, places like Extremadura often steal the spotlight. But just an hour or so from the streets of Madrid lies a landscape that's every bit as impressive. On this trip, we headed into the heart of central Spain to explore its vast plains, rocky hillsides, reservoirs and wetlands, all packed with an incredible diversity of bird life. From colourful flamingos to spectacular birds of prey soaring overhead, join us as we explore one of Spain's hidden birding gems, discover some amazing wildlife, and see just how much the Madrid region has to offer. Our first stop on the trip was the province of Avala, an incredible mix of open farmland, rocky hillsides and ancient woodland. It was exactly the kind of habitat we travelled miles to explore, but the real question was whether it would deliver. Avala was quite intimidating because we're so excited to get some lifers and a lot of the birds were new, so we're finding it tricky to ID things. Although, when Matt said he saw a white bird in the distance hovering, we had a feeling we were in luck with one of my species. We saw the beautiful and majestic short-toed ego. At one point it perched in a very distant tree. They were awesome to watch and a great start to the trip. Look how white this bird is. We also saw this lovely group of bee-eaters, our first for the trip, which gave us the pep in the step we needed. Spain has some incredible mountains and we knew we had to visit at least one during our trip. Rising above the northwest of Madrid is the Sierra de Guadarrama, a mountain range that separates the Madrid region from Castile y León. These granite peaks are home to a very different community of birds, from alpine species to mountain woodland species. Our destination today was La Nejara, a 2,120 metre summit. We were hoping the climb would reward us with some incredible wildlife. It is currently 20 past 10. It was a 5 a.m. get up and we have just climbed La Nejara. What a view. We have had a few lifers this morning. We had autumn bunting, we've seen rock bunting, rock thrush, beautiful quails. They were like all calling to each other. What a privilege to be here. An awesome species. The entire climb up, all you could hear was autumn bunting all around us. But look at that view. You can actually see Madrid in the distance, which is really cool. There's an embalsa, which is a reservoir there. We did spend some time at this reservoir and had great views of booted eagle and vultures. No clips, but we wanted to show you the incredible view. Between some of our longer birding days, we decided to take things a little bit slow. One of the biggest advantages of staying in the Madrid area was being surrounded by mountains. What an incredible experience we've just had. We could hear Dr. warblers while we're walking up the path, and just in front of us in a bush here we've got a mother Dartford, and about, we think, 4 or 5 babies. We're far enough away that they're just happy. They're just going around, they're preening, they're getting fed by mum. But what an absolute precious experience. After spending some time observing the Dartford warblers, we continued our climb up the mountain. As we made our way higher, it felt like there were woodchat shrikes calling from every corner. We came across this pair calling to each other, which was incredibly sweet to watch, alongside the occasional juvenile. One thing that really surprised me were the number of chaffinches up the mountains. They duped me every single time, thinking it's something much rarer, but I quickly grew fond of them. We finally reached the summit, spotting short-toed eagles and red-billed choughs along the way. I remember sitting there, taking it all in and thinking to myself, this feels good for my soul. At the top, we were joined by crested larks and woodlarks. The woodlarks were so tame, coming incredibly close to us, giving us some amazing views. There were also some cows grazing near the summit. I won't lie, they kind of scared me, so we made sure to keep our distance. As we sat at the top of the mountain, recuperating and admiring the incredible views, I suddenly spotted a black-eared wheatear. I couldn't believe my eyes. What an incredible, smart-looking bird. We weren't having much luck with warblers at the last location. We did get Dartfords, like I said. So we came to a forest about a 5-minute drive away, and it's getting quite hot, so I was just sat on these rocks over here by this lovely little stream, and I could hear a golden oriole and a Benelli's warbler, and then a Benelli's warbler landed in the tree in front of us. It wasn't there for very long, and I managed to get one snap, but lifer, very happy. Almost every journey to and from our apartment treated us to the views of the El Escorial, one of Spain's most iconic landmarks. This vast royal monastery and palace was built in the 16th century by King Philip II. So I actually vlogged earlier, and you probably won't see that clip because it was us looking for night heron at a local park, and I will tell you it was almost 40 degrees, so we binned that off and went home. It is now 20 to 8, and we have just got to a location where there are lots of open deaces, and we are hoping for redneck nightjar and Scops owl. So sunset is in about an hour and 20 minutes, so we're going to hang around, get a feel for the place, have a look to see if we can see them. Obviously they're night birds, so you're not going to get amazing footage, but hopefully we get something to show you guys. I think we naively went into thinking Scops owls and redneck nightjars were bang on. It was 9:30 before it started getting dark, and we arrived at the park at around 7:30. So we were just sat on a rock with a big camera in a local park. Did we look dumb? Probably could spot that we were English a mile off. Do you think this little guy thought we were dumb? Must have done, considering he went and got his mate and they both gave us that classic little owl disapproving glare. Nevertheless, they gave us a nice distraction, even though it was probably judgmental. So back to the nighttime species. I didn't consider some pretty important things. Number 1, it is dark in the middle of an inner city park, and there were people around. And number 2, which is a pretty big factor, I'm scared of the dark, and I should have known I would have been too scared. Scared Sophie sometimes gets a little bit feisty. Therefore, through my scared scrambling around the park, I managed to get this pretty terrible clip of them chirping. So what did I learn from this, do you ask? Sophie doesn't do nighttime birding.
After exploring the open countryside, it was time to experience a completely different side of Madrid. Despite the summer temperatures, the region's wetlands were alive with birds, and over the course of the days, we discovered just how diverse these habitats really are.
First lifer of the day, and it was a flamingo. I've never seen a flamingo before, obviously because it's lifer. Oh, they're so cool. That feels really cool to see a flamingo in Spain.
Our first stop immediately delivered. Flamingos fed out on the water while black-winged stilts stood elegantly alongside ringed plovers. Glossy ibises glinted in the morning sun, and the white storks were never too far away. It was a fantastic introduction to Madrid's wetlands, but there was one species that was already on our minds, the collared pratincoll. Our first visit to the wetlands was amazing, but no sign of the little guys, so the search continued. At our second wetland during the trip, the habitat changed completely. There were coots and their babies everywhere, and I love how vocal the babies were. The parents had a pretty tough job keeping them happy. It was wonderful to see the black-necked grebes at such a close distance compared to our usual views back home. We had extended views of large groups of black-winged stilts, and I grew quite fond of them over the course of the trip. The whiskered terns were so cool, and I like seeing them in contrast in colour between the green stuff in the water. Stuff is obviously the scientific name for it. We were on the search for a marble duck, which was a dip, but at one point I was convinced these red-crested potsherds were them. They were asleep at the time. Do ducks spend most of their time asleep? Lucky sods. Then came one of those unexpected moments that made a birding trip so memorable. A Savvy's warbler suddenly appeared at an incredible close range. Another welcome lifer was the white-headed duck. Look at this chunk of a blue beak. It was great seeing them sashaying across the water. They knew how swift they looked. We were still hoping for views of the collared pratincoll. Then, completely by accident, we struck gold.
I cannot believe it. So we were just driving around and we found on Google Maps a bird hide. So we're here. It's 36 degrees. It's a hide and it's shaded, and literally a few metres from us are a group of collared pratincolls, a redshank, a Kentish plover, black-winged stilts, there's flamingos, and they are so close to us. It is so special. I have never experienced anything like this. Oh my god, there's an adult. There's an adult collared pratincoll to the left of the redshank. Oh wow.
Collared pratincolls were right in front of us, giving us unbelievably close views as they fed and flew around the scrape. This was everything we'd hoped for and more. To make the experience even better, Kentish plovers were feeding just metres away, glossy ibis and redshanks weaving between each other. This allowed us to see such insane views of these star species. It was actually also interesting to see the size difference between them. Wading birds are my favourite type of birds, and obviously sitting down on a hide is a massive bonus. I just love hide birding. The flamingos were in great numbers with over 600. Matt did a heroic job of counting them. I liked seeing the avocets and the glossy ibis too. They didn't get as close to the hide as some of the smaller waders. I thought this redshank was really interesting. At home I see redshanks fairly often, but I hadn't seen one this dark before, which made me question whether it was a spotted redshank. We are good at assuming the rarer species, lol. The gold-billed terns kept their distance, and watching them interact with each other was really cool. I loved how white they were going over the scrape. It was so clear that they were a tern. I really liked watching the babies with the adults, and I did feel quite sorry for this little guy. I think he was expecting food and didn't get any. If you've been here for a while, you know how much I like plovers. After all, we are a plover appreciation channel. Seeing the Kentish plover so close just made my heart full. They are so tiny, but they have so much character and charisma and truly are wonderful. Look at this little tyke bolting it around the place. Little do they know how precious they are. Okay, I need to stop swooning over plovers and tell you about our next wetland visit of the trip. As if the wetland still had more to offer, our next wetland of the trip produced yet another fantastic collection of birds. We had good views of grebes, herons and egrets. The great crested grebes put on their usual show with their teeny tiny humbugs, and the little grebes it proved impossible to get any footage of as they were constantly underwater. We definitely weren't the only ones suffering from the heat, and we saw this little swallow fly into the hide to get some shelter. We had good views of little egret and cattle egrets chilling in the sun, and out of nowhere a squawk heron gave us a quick flyby. A bird that wasn't actually on my radar for this trip. We visited this wetland to look for the ferruginous duck, and we had insane views. They were loafed up in the water and even gave us a little feather shake.
We have got a nice bit of ecotones today. We have got fields, forests, cliffs, and a little bit of water. Birds love an ecotone. We've just pulled up, I think it's about a 3-mile walk, and the possibilities here, this is, I think, one of the only places in the Madrid province where rollers have been known to breed. And in the last 10 years, they've been here 9 out of 10. So we are really hoping that we get to see rollers today. If not, we might need to travel further afield, but we got to be in it to win it. They have different warblers here. They've got owls. There's different birds of prey. So we've just got here, and already in those trees over there, I can hear a golden oriole. So that feels like a good omen for the day.
Matt told me the walk was around 3 miles, which was pretty reasonable. I should have known the red flags that appeared along the path to suggest it was longer than that. For example, the Spanish farmer who specifically said it was very hot and he looked concerned. For the first 90% of the walk, we saw the usual birds and saw this goldfinch sneeze in the sand, which was adorable. Things started to pick up around 3 miles in, and we got this typical view of the back of a turtle dove. When we were on our way back, we saw a group of swallows resting on the wire, and they didn't appear to care that we were next to them. I was hot, and I said to Matt we would be even dumber if we didn't check for red rump swallow, considering they were right there and it would be a lifer. Lo and behold, there was a red rump swallow chilling. Thank you, Exhausted Sophie, for suggesting it, and Matt the Eye for identifying it. Then, all of a sudden, trying to add dramatic effect, we saw 2 birds together, and one was super loud calling to the other one. I was frantically scrambling for Merlin while having a water bottle strapped to me, and Matt was trying to take a photo of the birds. Instantly, we could see it was a Spanish eagle, and there was a third around too. This must have been a family of 3 Spanish eagles. I still can't believe it, and considering the number distribution, I was over the moon. Would I walk in 38-degree heat to see them again? Hell yes, I would. Would I change anything? Absolutely not. When we got back to the car, we saw a humble 46 degrees in the car, in the shade. Mad dogs and Englishmen, they say.
It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we have walked 3 miles through completely open lands, and we saw 2 turtle doves and 2 Spanish imperial eagles. It's like 33 degrees right now, but my god, being this hot has made it worth it for those 2 eagles, and they were calling to each other. The turtle doves were like doing their little charring. Oh, yeah, very happy. Cannot wait to get a Calippo.
Off.
It is before 5 this morning and we were up at 4:15 because we are going to a wetlands in Castile-La Mancha today. We didn't have any luck with the rollers yesterday, but the experience we had with Spanish Eagle, it was insane. So we have found a place that have rollers, great spot of cookies and lesser kestrels. So we've got up super early. It's a 2-hour, 17-minute drive. Let's have ya.
So we have arrived. It was a 2-hour and 45-minute drive this morning. It's just after 8 and we were driving down a dirt track and we saw, we had 2 lifers in the space of like 2 minutes, which was lesser kestrel and greater spotted cookie. Greater spotted cookie, I saw it through the binoculars. I'm tempted to say it looks like one of my favourite birds this trip, but yeah, what a good morning. Hopefully that's a good omen for these rollers. This looks like perfect conditions for a roller. So we're going to do some birding now before the sun gets too hot and the heat haze begins.
We were determined to see rollers on our trip. We were constantly checking eBird and there were sporadic sightings throughout the province of Madrid. Therefore, we made a decision whether we were going to commit to a long drive further afield to see them. If you know anything about us, you know we can't resist an early morning and a long drive for potential dipping a bird. So, we got up and left the apartment before 5 to drive to Castilla-La Mancha. You would have seen in the transition that Matt kindly tried to record me with a flash on. No, thank you. In our classic style of going down 2 wrong tracks, we started driving around. Matt spotted a roller going into a nest box. My god, I was so happy to see them. I feel we really worked hard to see rollers on this trip. And once we saw a roller, we didn't stop seeing them. They were flying around, hunting and even perching on the grass. On reflection, it was worth the early get up, but it's also a good job that Spanish coffee is so cheap.
What a morning we have had. So we saw the greater spotted cookie and the kestrels, and then we've just been driving around some like farmland area and we saw rollers going into a nest box, and we've just had really good views of a roller in flight, and we've been sat watching a lesser kestrel hunt and go into an, I'm guessing, a nesting area because it seems to be hunting and then going somewhere, but it's incredible. Good morning. Wow, what an exciting day we've got. We have rented a forest hide. We have just got here. It was a very early get up today, but I already know it's going to be worth it. So we've just got here. We can hear turtle dove and golden oriole, and we've just had crested tit in front of the hide, and the man is still setting up the hide. So that's a lifer. Iberian magpies just landed in front of the hide. This is exciting.
I was super keen to have better views of a turtle dove and also take some good photos. Therefore, we booked a professionally managed hide. I felt like such a VIP getting picked up and drove to the hide. The team were super lovely and even added my Instagram posts on their stories. Little plug for my Instagram here, Sophie the Birder. Back to the hide. It was in a forest and it had a drinking pool. As soon as we got out the car, we could hear the turtle doves and the golden orioles. I was pretty buzzing with the potential of good photos, and I was not wrong. The lovely man who drove us to the hide was filling up the pool while we set up in the hide, and before closing the door to the hide, crested tits landed on the pool. Good job we got some footage and photos, as we barely saw the little tykes again. I will leave a link in the description, as the hide was awesome, and I know they have multiple hides in Spain. There were some points where I didn't know whether to laugh or cry with the insane views. The views of the turtle dove were so close, and it was so special as they were pottering around in the drinking pool. We also got to see a young hare and a deer with her baby. Absolutely adorable, and I kept saying it was one of the best days of my life. It was one of the hottest days of the trip, and we were sat in a small 2-seater hide with no windows and glass. We managed to last the morning, but as the day progressed I started to melt and we asked to be picked up. Let's talk about where we stayed. We aren't really ones to stay in a hotel. We like our own space in a little hub after a bird watching day. The bonus of renting an apartment also is that we can prepare our own food. We stayed in a village called Robledo de Chavela. It was about an hour's drive from Madrid. I would not recommend driving out of Madrid airport in a brand new hire car during rush hour. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. The garden was private and we would sit out there in the evenings, and there were different birds around. There were a huge group of sparrows that did not stop chirping, which is really handy when you're trying to see if Marlin can pick something up in the distance. They were cute though. We did develop a garden list, and some cool species were bee-eaters, Iberian magpie, black kites and griffon vulture. One day when we were reading in the garden, we saw a golden oriole land in the tree in front of us. I'm sure we could have got £250 from You've Been Framed for the scrambling to get up to get our camera. Matt managed to get a phone shot. Another stupidly lucky sighting was a Spanish eagle. I couldn't believe we managed to see one from the garden. It just shows that you can be anywhere to see these birds, because why would anyone walk in the midday heat to potentially see one? There are a lot of thunderstorms in Spain during our trip. Naturally, they happened at super convenient times, one being when we were searching in the park for night drives to scare me even more, and another time was when I needed to get up early. Matt was quite fond of watching them. Me, on the other hand, wanted to preserve my life and always get worried I'll get struck by them. Okay, now on to the most serious topic of them all. I need to introduce you to a little lady who stole our hearts. Her name was Tokyo. She was so affectionate and gave us the best cuddles, and she truly was an absolute gem. There we have it. 2 weeks in Spain in 25 minutes. We had an absolute blast, and I was living my best life over there. We grafted for the species, but it was totally worth it. We obviously had a bliss of birds that we wanted to see, and dipped a few and got mad about it, but that's the thrill of bird watching, right? Central Spain was epic, and I really urge you guys to consider when you're looking at your next birding holiday. We saw 134 species in 2 weeks with 27 lifers, which are insane numbers. For me, the Spanish eagle, Autumn bunting, collared pratincoll, lesser kestrel, and great spotted cuckoo were my top 5. Matt's top 5 were Spanish eagle, Autumn bunting, hoopoo, roller and lesser kestrel. If you made it this far, fair play to you. Thanks for watching and see you again soon.